Imagine living in a country where the government strictly controls everything you can see and say on the internet, where posting an opinion contrary to the regime can lead to imprisonment. This is the daily reality for millions of Iranians. Today, let's explore how internet censorship is used by the Iranian government to control its population. Iran, officially known as the Islamic Republic of Iran, is a country located in the Middle East with a population of approximately 83 million people. It borders countries such as Iraq, Turkey, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. The capital of Iran is Tehran, a vibrant metropolis and the political and cultural center of the country. The Iranian government has been an Islamic theocracy since the 1979 revolution, led by the supreme leader, currently Ali Khamenei, and the president, who is elected every 4 years. The country is predominantly Muslim, with the majority of the population practicing Shia Islam. Geopolitically, Iran has strategic alliances with countries like Syria and terrorist groups like Hezbollah and Hamas, and intense rivalries with countries such as the United States, Israel, and Saudi Arabia. Iranian culture is rich and diverse, with a long history of contributions to art, literature, and science. Internet censorship in Iran began to intensify in the early 2000s as internet access became more popular. The government, fearing the spread of ideas contrary to the regime and Western cultural influence, began implementing strict measures to control the flow of information. The first steps included blocking sites deemed immoral or politically sensitive. This blockage was not limited to pornographic or violent content, but also extended to any material promoting freedom of expression, women's rights, or questioning the legitimacy of the Iranian government. The government established a robust infrastructure to monitor and filter internet traffic. The Information Technology Organization of Iran was established to oversee the implementation of censorship policies. The Iranian Cybersecurity Agency also plays a crucial role in supervising and controlling online activities. Censorship quickly extended to social media and blog platforms, which many young Iranians use to share ideas and opinions. Blogs critical of the government were systematically blocked, and their authors often persecuted and imprisoned. This created an environment of fear, where self-censorship became a common practice among internet users. With the advent of social media, censorship in Iran intensified. Platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube were quickly blocked, forcing citizens to use VPNs, virtual private networks, to access these sites. The Iranian government also heavily invested in developing its own state-monitored social networks. The evolution of censorship techniques in Iran was driven by the need to control protests and dissent. During the 2009 presidential elections, known as the Green Movement, the government temporarily blocked internet access to curb the spread of information about the protests. This action marked a significant milestone in the evolution of digital censorship in the country. Since then, the government has implemented even more severe measures, such as the creation of the National Information Network, also known as the Halal Internet. This network is a domestic version of the global internet designed to isolate Iran's data traffic from the rest of the world. The NIN allows the government to have almost total control over what citizens can access online, restricting access to international sites and promoting state-supervised national platforms. Moreover, the government uses deep packet inspection (DPI) techniques to analyze and filter internet traffic in real time. This allows the identification of specific content and the implementation of instant blocks. DPI technology is used to monitor communications in messaging apps such as WhatsApp and Telegram, increasing the government's ability to spy on private conversations. Did you know about these censorship measures implemented by the Iranian government? Leave your comment below about what you think of this issue, share your opinion, and see what others have to say about it. In addition to blocking sites, the Iranian government uses advanced surveillance techniques to monitor its citizens' online activities. Spyware is installed on computers and smartphones, and internet service providers are required to cooperate with the government to identify and report suspicious activities. Censorship goes beyond blocking websites and social networks. The Iranian government has the capability to cut off internet access throughout the country, an extreme measure used during the protests in November 2019. During these protests, the government shut down the internet for several days to prevent the organisation of demonstrations and the dissemination of information about the violent repression of the protests. This had a devastating impact, isolating millions of Iranians from the outside world and preventing communication between activists and journalists. The consequences for those who violate censorship rules are severe. Journalists, activists, and ordinary citizens who post content critical of the government can be imprisoned, tortured, and in some cases even executed. A tragic example is the case of Ruhollah Zam, a journalist and activist who was kidnapped and taken to Iran, where he was tried and executed in 2020 for his online activities criticizing the regime. Censorship also creates an environment of fear and self-censorship, where people hesitate to express their opinions freely. This affects the cultural and intellectual development of the country, limiting the exchange of ideas and innovation. The lack of access to information prevents citizens from fully engaging in social and political issues, keeping them uninformed and therefore easier to control. Despite the strict censorship measures, Iranians continue to find ways to circumvent the restrictions. The use of VPNs and proxies is common, and many citizens become adept at digital evasion techniques. International organizations and human rights groups also work to provide tools and resources to help Iranians access information freely. VPNs are one of the most popular solutions, allowing users to hide their location and access the internet as if they were in another country. However, the Iranian government is aware of this practice and continually works to block VPN services. This creates a constant race between users and the government, with new solutions and countermeasures being developed regularly. In addition to VPNs, there is the use of secure browsers and encryption to protect online privacy. Applications such as Tor allow users to browse the internet anonymously, making government surveillance more difficult. Hacker groups and activists also develop tools and techniques to help Iranians circumvent censorship. International organizations such as Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, as well as technology companies, are involved in efforts to raise awareness about censorship in Iran and provide technical support to citizens. These efforts include advocacy campaigns, the development of evasion software, and pressure on foreign governments to impose sanctions on Iranian authorities responsible for censorship and repression. The fight for freedom of expression in Iran continues, with many activists inside and outside the country pushing for reforms and a relaxation of censorship policies. Resistance is fueled by the belief in the importance of access to information and freedom of expression as fundamental human rights. Internet censorship in Iran is a powerful tool used by the government to maintain control over the population. Through sophisticated surveillance techniques and severe punitive measures, the Iranian government restricts freedom of expression and prevents the dissemination of information contrary to the regime. However, the resistance and innovation of Iranian citizens demonstrate a deep desire for freedom and access to information. The fight against censorship in Iran is an ongoing battle, but the determination of the Iranian people and the support of the international community offer hope for a future with greater freedom and less repression. Now, we want to hear your opinion. What do you think about the situation of internet censorship in Iran? Leave your comment below and share your thoughts. Also, tell us what other topics you would like to see covered in our future videos. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. See you next time.